The scene shifts to his place. He receives a phone call confirming that his payment has been received and advising him to inform the hospital of any further needs. He thinks to himself that it seems they've kept their word on the payment. He acknowledges his trust in their care and willingness to support his brother's recovery. The hospital informs him that his brother's condition is more severe than expected, requiring a few months of observation with costs estimated at 40 to 50,000. He closes his eyes, reflecting on the situation, considering the high costs and his brother's condition. He regrets not accepting the other guild's offer, realizing it might have been a better financial choice. Just then, his thoughts are interrupted by another phone call. As he looks down at the number, he answers the call but isn't sure who is on the line. Still uncertain about the caller's identity, the scene shifts to a boardroom where everyone has gathered to listen in on a phone call. A person on the other end of the line addresses Luo, asking if he is interested in joining the Misty Rain Pavilion Guild. We now see that it is Sujinya calling. She introduces herself as the Vice Guild Master of Misty Rain Pavilion and informs Luo that they have his insurance covered along with a base salary of 30,000 a month plus bonuses. He smiles as she details the offer, feeling that the timing is perfect. He reflects on how this opportunity comes at just the right moment, aligning well with his current situation. He agrees to the deal, and both sisters smile with visible satisfaction, dearly pleased to have him on board. Their faces show relief and excitement at having successfully recruited such a valuable addition to their team. Their happiness is short-lived, as Luo outlines a condition. While he is willing to participate in major events and fulfill requests, he requires that his personal freedom remains unrestricted. Both sisters listen to his condition, realizing it might be a deal-breaker for their boss. However, they understand his true value and just need to demonstrate this to their boss. One member argues that personal freedom undermines the guild's purpose, questioning how the guild can function if everyone prioritizes their own freedom. Luo interprets this as a rejection and, seeing no way forward, ends the phone call. The room falls silent after Luo ends the phone call, with all the members turning to the head of the table, waiting for a decision. We now see Su Chen, the CEO of the Su Foundation, as people discuss the rudeness of Luo hanging up and debate whether to continue pursuing him. Su Chen closes her eyes, questioning if they truly wanted to poach him at any cost. She looks at them with confidence and explains that Luo is the class shifter who shattered their 100-year record by defeating the boss of the First World and clearing it in less than a day. She emphasizes that he is a once-in-a-century prodigy, making it crucial to seize this opportunity to secure him. However, she does not see any value in him with that attitude. Just then, a voice interrupts her. The voice is from the other sister as she stands up from her seat and, with a firm voice, confirms that what her sister said is true, acknowledging that he is truly different from the rest of the players. She looks at them and follows up by saying that from her perspective, they should meet his conditions first and then negotiate further once he's on board. The other sister agrees, commenting that after all he has said, he will participate in their activities and is not completely on his own. She closes her eyes, clasps her hands together, and comments in an authoritative voice that if he refuses to submit to authority, then they have no other choice. The scene shifts to Luo, who notices he is receiving a phone call from the same number. He looks at the number and thinks that although the guild is only ranked 5th among the guilds of Long Kingdom, it should be sufficient. He also notes that their monthly pay and bonus should cover his brother's medical expenses. He answers the phone call. Sujinya says that they can agree to his terms and asks what time he is available to visit their office and report to them. He suggests working from home rather than the office, noting that since they are both in the same time zone, logging in shouldn't be a problem. She looks puzzled about how to respond while the other sister can only hope he joins. He then states that if they can't agree, the deal is off. However, that's not the case, as she agrees to his terms and confirms they will proceed accordingly. He smiles upon hearing the good news. He hangs up the phone, stretches out, and thinks that now that the guild negotiations are settled, he wouldn't have to worry about income for a while. It is time to make progress in the alternate world. He begins logging in, and the system prompts him to select the world he wishes to enter. The options are the first world, Nightmare Source, or the second world, Fortress Besieged by Undead. He selects the second option with confidence, and a red aura starts to glow in front of him, signaling the beginning of his entry into the world. The portal fully forms, creating a glowing doorway. He steps forward and walks through it, entering the new world. He takes his first step out into the new world. The system announces, "Welcome to the second world, fortress besieged by undead. You are at the safe zone, Norden Town." As he looks around, he notices a few stone buildings and distant mountains in the background, gently lit by the moonlight during the night. He opens the system window, which displays the quests for the second world, fortress besieged by undead. The tasks include getting past the secret realm, participating in and succeeding in repelling 3 waves of enemies, and, upon completing these objectives, challenging the second world boss to advance to the third world. As he arrives in town and begins to walk around, he thinks that the level requirement for the secret realm is at least 15, so he needs to gain some levels before considering it. For the second quest, he will just have to wait. Then he hears a voice shout, "Hurry, the next wave will be arriving soon." He sees that the person is Captain Norris, who appears frustrated and exasperated, complaining about the timing of the zombie attack and the lack of weapons in stock to support their fellow soldiers. He watches from a distance and thinks that while Norden is the safe zone of the second world, it is periodically attacked by waves of zombies. This certainly keeps things tense in a place like this. But then the captain sees him and asks if he would head to the west of Norden to gather materials for forging and maintaining their weapons, as a battle is about to break out at any moment. He thinks to himself that there are a total of 10 quests available at Norden, and this one is among the hardest and most time-consuming, with targets ranging from levels 11 to 20. As the system window displays the quest details, the system window shows the quest details. Resource gathering, a regular quest with a difficulty of 200 points, which involves gathering fire, ice, and poison cores from zombies at the military base west of Norden, offering rewards of 100,000 XP, 50 silver coins, 9,000 energy, random 2-star equipment, and either a skill book or pet egg. He smiles with glee, thinking that this might be the most rewarding quest of them all. Once completed, he might be done with the entire world. He smiles and tells the captain to leave it to him. The captain, pleased to see someone willing to help, leaves the task in his hands. The scene shifts to a place on fire called the Norden Outskirts, formerly a military supply base. There are many zombies in the fire-ravaged area, and one of them growls as it notices something. The zombie notices the footsteps of someone approaching. It is Luo, prepared for battle with his staff in hand and his pet ready by his side. As he gives the command to start, his eyes sparkle with excitement. The attack begins, and a fire spell strikes one zombie, dealing 266 damage. However, the zombie resists 50% of the damage. Another zombie roars and charges past the one that was hit, rushing forward to engage in the attack. It rushes toward his pet, ready to strike, but the pet immediately launches an attack in return. The zombie's attack hits the pet, but the pet's counterattack only deals 1 damage. Luo looks on and knows this is a problem. He watches and curses silently, realizing that not much damage can be done to these fire-resistant zombies. But just then, he decides to use something else. Blue energy begins to gather in his hand. He grabs his staff, his eyes glowing blue as energy swirls around him. A large blue aura envelops him, signaling his intent to see just how long they could withstand the coming onslaught.